Welcome everybody to Monza. We are here, round 8 at Italy, Euroformula Open 2022. We have arrived at the Autodromo de Monza here for this absolutely superb session of qualifying. Obviously, we've got racing again this weekend, resuming the championship fight. And as you can see, the rain is falling, folks. We have been declared this a wet session at this point, but nevertheless, the drivers are going to give it their absolute most, or their absolute best, in order to try and qualify on top. This man, though, was very fast in practice. Francesco Simonazzi, the Italian, the BVM Racing driver that did succeed last time when we went to Austria, got his first win of the season. And there's Mansell in behind. As I said, the championship fight is ongoing. A little flick there from Mansell just goes to show that the track is very greasy underfoot. But we've got plenty of action to bring you all over the weekend. 3 races, of course, with reverse grids. Obviously, that'll be after we finalise this session of qualifying, of course. We've then got racing this afternoon too. But these drivers will be looking to give it their absolute best in order to land pole. It's going to be very tricky, very treacherous, who can master it on the day. There is Mansell now, coming through the hellacious Ascari chicane. Of course, very, very fast-paced at this point of the circuit. And here we can have a little look at the replay. This is Francesco Simonazzi getting a little bit out of shape, heading out to the Lesmo corners before he then takes it down the straight. But there you can see the timer has commenced, and we are ready to get underway. Simonazzi now heading around the famed Parabolica curve. And in behind as well, he's got Mansell just joining him as well. Vladislav Lomco, another man who's looking to certainly score big again this weekend. Currently leads the rookie standings and looking to go and further his exploits in this championship. We've got Oliver Goethe, Mansell and Vladislav Lomco fighting it out for the driver's title this season. Goethe leading to that effect, 417 points to his acclaim right now. He scored his 10th win of the season at Austria. And he'll have plenty of onlookers looking to try and take that crown away from him. But Francesco Simonazzi sets off, heading around the Curva Grande, and he'll then make his way down towards the next chicane at the Roggia. As he does so, he now rounds this next very fast-paced right-hander. Very good opportunity for overtaking. Wet tyres being put on Mansell's car. It's been declared that slicks obviously aren't suitable. There you can see Simonazzi just fighting the car almost, just getting in the midst of that steering wheel, trying to regain traction at this point of the circuit. Certainly heading into a chicane such as the Roggia, and things can get a little bit touchy because you are slamming on the brakes heading into that particular set of curves. Heading through the first Lesmo again, just flicking out that rear. And certainly these drivers do like a wet session. I caught up with a few of them yesterday, many of them excited that we could see the prospects of rain because we haven't seen a lot of it this season. We did have a moment or two of rain in Austria, but never to the extent that we had a whole track flooded with water, or certainly layered with water, not flooded as such, as now Simonazzi heads down into the next chicane. And currently lodging in a 120 at that point before entering Ascari. He's then going to put his foot down on the outset and make his way down this next long straight where he will undertake the Parabolica curve. You can really build up a lot of pace heading down through this section. Then you've got almost like a slingshot effect heading out to Parabolica, which can pretty much send you down this long straight very, very fast indeed. That's why they call it the Temple of Speed here at Monza, as you can now see Francesco Simonazzi rounded this particular one now. Just see the rear end getting away from him slightly, but he does well to maintain the grip as he now heads down towards the line. And what's he going to register in his first initial stint? It's a 201.185 for Francesco Simonazzi. And he, of course, will be looking to go again and build up the pace as time goes on. Obviously, with wet conditions, it does mean that it will take a while before the drivers can get themselves settled in. A lot of the rubber that they would have put in during practice. A slight lock-up there from Francesco heading into the Rettifilio. He makes his way out of that particular chicane. We're just seeing now Oliver Goethe, who hasn't had a chance to lay in practice at all because, of course, we've got plenty of drivers who are testing for Formula 3 at this point. And Oliver Goethe managed to land a second-place time in the 3rd session of testing in F3. Only came in late last night, but nevertheless jumping in the car. So there's a huge amount of pressure on Ollie Goethe in this weekend's affair. Obviously, the Great Dane, who has marshalled such huge season, certainly to say the least, getting a little bit out of shape though, heading out of that particular chicane. And we have spoken about how the rain can certainly impact your grip, certainly at a track such as Monza. Oliver Goethe really struggling with the car heading on that outset. We're now seeing them now make their way out. That's Josh Mason, who has also had some really good results of late. He has certainly picked up his ball. He picked up his second win of the season in Imola. So he's very well versed to Italian circuits. Goethe off the track again, heading into that next chicane at Roggia. Gets himself back on, and he'll make his way through the Lesmo. He wasn't the only one either. Looked like perhaps, was that Josh Mason who went off in the back there? No, it wasn't. It was what looked to be Alex Garcia further back as well, who ventured off the circuit at this point as well. So certainly the drivers trying to get themselves adjusted to the track. Alex Garcia, another driver who has certainly been showing up in testing as well. He makes his return this weekend, obviously looking to score some big points too. There's Vladimir Netashil. Now that's concerning. The car off the track. Is he holding a piece of his car as well? That could be pretty damning for the effective racing car off the circuit. Not good at all. You can see the rain still coming down as well. As you can see, the cars there making their way into Ascari. There is Alex Garcia, who is now working his way through the next very fast chicane, and he'll then make his way down the straight. Oliver Goethe, who we're just seeing in picture as well, coming up through towards the Parabolica. It's currently a 2:3:14 to beat, which was set by Francesco Simonazzi, a 2-minute 3:14. And Vladislav Lomco currently sits in second. So we've got two rookie drivers in the top two as of the start of qualifying. We've still got just under 18 minutes to go, so plenty of time for drivers to enlist fast times. There is our current P1 sitter. The driver's really working the cars right now in amidst these very damp, treacherous conditions. Obviously, this is where their skills really come to fruition when the track is as greasy as this. There you can see, once again, Simonazzi, another flick of the rear there. The Lesmo 2 is certainly good, or Lesmo 1, should I say, is going to be very challenging for quite a few of the drivers. And now, once again, we have got new tyres being fitted, this time to Ollie Goethe's car. You can just see them hard at work. Obviously, it will be full wet conditions as of now. And you can see the grooves on the tyres as well. Obviously, for the purposes of extra grip, Oliver Goethe's going to have to get those up to temperature again. So it means he might have to go out on a couple of laps just to get that rubber really nestled in to this circuit. It's now Simonazzi, who's once again going purple. He's finding more pace now, the Italian. Once again, a home race for BVM, as Mansell now goes fastest with a 1:59.5772. So he is now the sole driver in the 1:59s. But Simonazzi, who is going quicker again, he could usurp that of Christian Mansell as he heads through the Parabolica bend as well. Vladislav Lomco will be coming to the end of his lap too. But the Italian Francesco Simonazzi heading up towards the line. What's it going to be? Will it vastly usurp Christian Mansell's time? No, he lost some time in the final sector, a 1:59.796. He found the majority of it in the first sector, lost a little bit in the second, and lost plenty more of it in the third as well. Wasn't able to land a big P1 time. Lomco now moves into second fastest too. There we can see him in picture heading into the Rettifilio chicane. He managed to get a 1:59.610, so the time starting to come down steadily by the moment. Mansell still holds the advantage of 59.572 to beat. And he's gone faster again in the first sector as well, as we now see Vladislav Lomco heading around the Curva Grande. He'll then come into the Roggia chicane. There's Francesco Simonazzi, just keeping that car nice and tight and making sure there's no missteps. A mammoth first sector there for Lomco as well, who's managed to find 9/10 in that first sector. He's gone purple as well. If he can keep this going, this will surely be a very fast time. There is Christian Mansell. He's heading in the next left. Now he's registered a purple second sector as well, so he's found quite a lot of time too. So the Aussie now really starting to kick things into gear with just over 15 minutes to go. Josh Mason, he's got just ahead of him too, as they now make their way down towards the Parabolica. Mansell on top, Vladislav Lomco second, Simonazzi third. Frederick Lubin then in fourth, who was very unlucky last time at Austria. Picked up a puncture, which of course on the final lap, he was defending so hard, looking for his very first race win. It was certainly heartbreak for Freddie Lubin, but I'm sure he's going to be back this weekend to try again as they now come up towards the line. Christian Mansell once again retains first place with a 58.412 this time. So Mansell finding more and more time. Vladislav Lomco, though, in behind will look to go faster again as he also comes up towards the line too. So we'll keep our eyes peeled, folks, for Vladislav Lomco as soon as he crosses the line. But he's purple in the first two sectors. Lost a little bit of time heading into sector 2. Here comes Francesco Simonazzi as well. This will not be as fast as what he's originally done, but it will be enough for second place. Not enough for P1, but Lomco will be coming up towards the line. Would it be enough for him to go quicker as he does so? Not quite yet. He's currently sat in, well, he is in first place now. The time has been registered at 1:58.130 for Vladislav Lomco and goes just under 0.3 of a second faster than that of Christian Mansell. And there's nearly a second gap then between first and third to that of Francesco Simonazzi. So there is plenty of pace to find for Francesco. Frederick Lubin has enlisted his first 1:59 of the day as well, a 59.736 for Frederick Lubin. So he is joining the contingent further up as well. Josh Mason also out on a lap. Improvements, certainly though, in Vladislav Lomco. And he's managed to get himself to the top end of things. And a little slower in this first sector for Lomco as he now heads in towards the Lesmo. Lesmo 1 and then Lesmo 2, where we've seen plenty of the cars flick the rears out. You see Lomco, no such trouble as he now makes his way down through towards the second Lesmo. And he'll then make his way down the long straight. Just got over 13 minutes to go in the session. Lomco with the advantage, Mansell in second, Simonazzi in third, 58.130 to beat. Certainly in terms of pace, Lomco on top of things right now, but anything can happen. Certainly everything can change here at Monza, just north of Milan. He's just gone faster again, Lomco, in the second sector. He's finding all sorts of pace right now as he now makes his way down the straight before he then enters the Parabolica. Simonazzi just ahead of him as well. Mansell, who enlisted a purple third sector in the previous running, obviously sat himself in second place. But all eyes now on Vladislav Lomco as he now enters the Parabolica. Can he improve on that 1:58.130 that he set prior to land himself on top spot? Let's wait and see as he now heads down the straight. He'll then pass the start-finish line and enlist his lap time. Comes up towards it now. It's a 1:57. First man in the 1:57s. That's a gargantuan lap time for Vladislav Lomco. Over a second faster than that of Christian Mansell. So once again, turning up the heat, Lomco. Getting well versed to this track, the greasy conditions not phasing him right now. And Mansell, who's in second, has now got work to do. Francesco Simonazzi, 1.7 seconds back from the lead of Vladislav Lomco as well. Interesting to note that we haven't seen Goethe set a competitive lap yet. He's still on a 2:03 right now, but I'm sure he'll look to come and join his colleagues up on the top end eventually. He is out on track. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled, but Lomco, no qualms to him at the top right now, 1:57.363. We've got plenty of time to go, though. Just over 11.5 minutes still remain in this session. Christian Mansell in second. A second is all that separates them right now. That will come cascading downwards, I am sure, as we're now watching the cars make their way through. Lomco will certainly be pleased with that. And here we have a replay. And this is Josh Mason venturing off at the Ascari chicane. Just again, a little twitch on the front end, and the rear end sort of stepping out. And unfortunately, meant that he had to take the escape at the Ascari chicane. But thankfully for Josh Mason, no gravel trap there, so he will not be stranded out in the midst of that, as we now watch Vladislav Lomco make his way through the Ascari now. Just whipping the car through this particular sector. These drivers certainly do enjoy this circuit. Great opportunity to really get stuck in and send the car, certainly in the Templar speed as it is known, as we now see Lomco make his way down towards the Parabolica yet again, looking to beat a 1:57.363, which at this very point currently holds on to the top end of this classification. The team watching on in the motor park garage. In comes Lomco as he comes up towards the line. He exudes confidence. He's gone quicker again. A 1:57.286 for Lomco. Getting well versed to this circuit. And now extends his gap, his advantage, to 1.1 seconds ahead of Christian Mansell. Absolutely incredible stuff from Vladislav Lomco, but we've still got 10 minutes to go. Mansell still out on track. He has found improvements in the first sector. And he'll be looking to try and enlist that in Sector 2 and Sector 3, but Lomco piling on the pressure, trying to ask questions of his competitors here at Monza. There is Christian Mansell, heading down now into the Lesmo. He has improved in the first sector, just a little bit slower though than Lomco's time, but still an improvement nonetheless. He's within a 10th, so that'll be really encouraging for the Aussie as he makes his way down towards Ascari. And you can just see them there, moving over to the what they believe to be the better side of the circuit. Obviously, these drivers are very conscious of where the grip is heading into the corners. Oliver Goethe also out on a lap. He's improving in the first sector as well as he looks to try and get his tyres sort of addressed to the circuit here at Monza, as now Mansell heads down towards the Parabolica curve as well. There you can see currently 3/10 off that of Lomco's pace, but it can all change in the final sector as he then sends it around this next corner, this next right-hander. And he'll then put his foot down, heading down the straight before then crossing the start-finish line. And as he does so, currently holds second, as I said. Simonazzi 1.8 behind that of Lomco. Mansell a 57.781, so he brings it right down just below half a second as we now see a replay. And this is Vladislav Lomco, and he has to cut into the chicane as well. Did very well to keep the car straight. Looked for a moment then that the car was going to spin, but Lomco showing his superb car control. Goethe goes 6th fastest, well, he retains 6th fastest, should I say, as he currently enlists a 2.5 second gap behind that of Vladislav Lomco. Coming into the next chicane, the Dane, who has led the championship all season long. Freddie Lubin has just gone 3rd fastest, ahead of that of Josh Mason and Francesco Simonazzi. And he's within a second of Vladislav Lomco as well. Goethe now heading around the Curva Grande. And he'll then make his way down through towards the next chicane at the Roggia. And has enlisted certainly a wonderful season. Oliver Goethe, his 10th win coming at Austria at the Red Bull Ring. Certainly has been filled with confidence this season. And he is still very much on to break the race wins record set by now F2 champion Felipe Drugovich. So there's a huge chance for Goethe to write his name into the history books, certainly here at Euroformula. Many Euroformula graduates this year going on to do amazing things. Obviously, Felipe Drugovich being one, and we've got Lundqvist as well in the world of IndyCar, who has gone on to do so well as well, as they make their way down towards the Ascari chicane. And there we can see Oliver Goethe just trying to get himself settled into this circuit. He's still got a little bit of time to find, but he is marshalling improvements on every lap he then puts in, because of course that's what's important, getting that momentum right as he now heads down this next straight. And he will undertake the Parabolica. Simonazzi also finding improvements as well, but a lot of work to do to try and close up on Vladislav Lomco's lap time. Just over 7 minutes to go here at Monza. Oliver Goethe just getting as tight as he can, just putting the throttle down without crossing into that treacherous gravel trap on the left-hand side. Oliver Goethe now. Simonazzi goes 4th fastest ahead of Josh Mason. Oliver Goethe still remains at the 159 with a 159.255. Remember, he didn't have the chance to practice, so it's very, very tricky for Goethe. He's got to try and get himself in place, ready for this session. Of course, Vladislav Lomco now, 157.422. He now still remains in top spot. It's not his best lap, though, because the 157.286 currently holds on to pole. Frederick Lubin in 4th as well. Mansell still in 2nd. He's still just under half a second away from Vladislav Lomco. His initial lap times that Lomco has set has put him in good stead right now. He still holds on to top spot, but there is still time in this session, certainly for that time to be underdone. Just over 6 minutes to go here at Italy, north of Milan, here at Monza. The famous circuit opened up back in 1922. We've seen many great races over the years, lots of drama, battling. It's very intense here at this circuit. And now purple for Christian Mansell in the first sector. So a great showing here by the Aussies, getting better and better every time, as we can now see Vladislav Lomco heading through this next portion of the circuit. There's Mansell now coming through Ascari. Lost a bit of time though in sector 2. That could be very costly, but encouraging signs that he has gone purple in sector 1. He can still go again and try and marshal in another time, but as the timer ticks down, you do have to wonder, they only have approximately 2 or 3 laps left in them in order to enlist a fast lap time to usurp that of Vladislav Lomco. So it's crunch time now, and Lomco has found a purple time in sector 2 as well. He's improved again. Mansell, he's now going to head up towards the line. Has he managed to recover anything after the issues in Sector 2? He's going to come across the start-finish line now. It lists at 1:59.763. No way near his best at all. Lomco still out on track with a purple lap, as we're now seeing the cars make their way down through towards the Rettifidio. Big pressure now on Mansell to move his way up to first. Goethes just gone fifth fastest ahead of Josh Mason. He has managed to put together a 1:58.529 and sit himself in fifth place. Lomco, though, with a chance to once again grow that delta between him and Mansell. He is now in the 1:56s. Lomco has now set in a purple lap at 1:56.958. Incredible, and has now increased that gap to just over 0.8 of a second up at the top end as well. Simonazzi over a second behind him, 1.1, but still showing some really positive signs for the BVM team. If he can keep it in the top 3, that's a podium at the end of the day. So a great showing indeed for Simonazzi coming back into this one, though I'm sure he would have wanted more after going fastest in practice. Of course, in both FP1 and FP2, he was ahead of Christian Mansell, who was up at the top end for FP1, and ahead of Freddie Lubin in FP2 as well. As we now watch Oliver Goethe, championship leader, looking to obviously enlist his well, certainly his best time as well. Lomco has just once again gone faster in the first sector here as we now come towards the closing stages of qualifying here at Monza. Goethe heading down now towards the Ascari chicane, a very long straight here. You have to be very wary of your braking points, certainly in these conditions when they're very, very greasy. Once again, trying to find the grip at the inside of the circuit. Lomco, though, just over 2.5 tenths quicker in that first sector as well. There he is, coming up towards the Ascari chicane. He's been such a sensation as a rookie driver this season, battling with the likes of Goethe. You just see him there sliding around this circuit, and once again the tail just stepping out slightly on that car, but he's gone quicker again. That just goes to show the sheer pace and the sheer desire these drivers certainly have in qualifying. Still Lomco holding on to a +2/10 delta advantage. He's certainly looking very good indeed. Coming around the Parabolica, he is purple in Sector 1 and 2. Will he be purple in Sector 3 again with just over 2.5 minutes remaining in this session? Surely there's only one lap for many left to go in this qualifying session. 1:57.006. That's enough certainly for the top end. Not his best though, because a 1:56.958 is what he set previously, though he did go faster in Sector 1, so keep your eyes peeled for Lomco. Christian Mansell needs to find more. He improved in the third sector on his previous lap as well, so keep your eyes peeled on him too. Plenty of cars now out on track as we now hear the car 69. Now that's Vladislav Lomco, had his last time deleted due to track limits at turn 10, so pushing onto those white lines just a little bit too much, Vladislav Lomco, but this was the moment. Heading out of the Ascari chicane, the rear just got away from him, and he had to recover greatly, and that's the mission. Certainly around a track like Monza, it's very treacherous indeed, and he certainly did do well to recover. Running off wide there as well, Vladislav Lomco, but I'm sure he won't be too phased at this point. Obviously, he still holds on to the lead. Mansell has got to find over 0.8 of a second in order to try and get ahead and get that pole position off Vlad Lomco. Simonazzi, 1.1 seconds behind him. There are improvements for Mansell. He's found it in Sector 2 off his previous best, and he'll very soon be coming up towards Sector 3 as well, as we now see Lomco make his way up towards the Ascari chicane. Represented Crypto Tower very well this season indeed, topping the rookie standings, challenging for the overall championship against that of Christian Mansell and Oliver Goethe. And, once again looking very pacey this weekend. Huge opportunity for points for Lomco, and many will see this as an opportunity, obviously because Goethe only just arrived last night after the Formula 3 F3 testing, and coming back into this. Obviously, it's a huge bit of pressure for Oliver Goethe. He's just gone into fourth, though, so a really good display from the Great Dane. He's managed to enlist a 1:58.103. He's now Vladislav Lomco, comes up towards the line, and still remains in first fastest. Not enough to usurp the time that he set previous, but he's the sole man in the 1:56s right now. Christian Mansell, who has improved as well, he is just under 0.7 of a second behind him. So he managed to knock certainly a little bit of time off the deficit between him and Lomco. The fastest lap currently sits at a 1:56.958 as set by Vladislav Lomco. There is Francesco Simonazzi, who Once again, looking to try and go quicker, trying to find any little bit of time he can. Has always been a very good practicer, certainly really worked hard in practice. In frequent sessions, we spoke to him after Hungary as the checkered flag comes down here in qualifying. Lomco, who holds on to the advantage, pressure now on the other drivers on the circuit to try and unseat the man on top in the dying moments. There's now Oliver Goethe, who is currently sat in fourth fastest, improves in the first sector, the 37.394 currently. He's going to look to try and get himself up into the top 3 places. Frederick Lubin has gone fastest of all in the first sector as well, so keep your eyes peeled on him. Could there be some drama at the closing stages of qualifying? Oliver Goethe, he's improved in the first 2 sectors, getting more and more versed to this circuit as time goes on, but it's now or never for Ollie Goethe as he now heads down towards the Parabolica. But Frederick Lubin, who's currently purple, could it be redemption after what happened at Austria? Goethe now heading through this next right-hander, trying to take every little bit of grip, laying down the power. Oliver Goethe now up towards the line. Can he put in a massive lap time? Checkered flag wave there on the left-hand side, enough for third fastest. Great showing by Ollie Goethe, sets himself behind Christian Mansell in the classification. There's Francesco Simonazzi, who is currently in fourth place. It's just been usurped by that of Ollie Goethe. Frederick Lubin has lost a little bit of time in the second sector. That's not ideal, as we're now watching certainly the cars make their way through. Lubin fighting with everything he's got as he now makes his way up towards the line. Any bit of pace that he can extract out of that car is enough for fourth fastest. He goes ahead of Simonazzi. So a great showing from Lubin. He jumps Francesco Simonazzi, but Lomco, he will certainly be on pole position. A great visit for Vladislav Lomco, 156.958. Enough to take the top-end order of things. And here is the confirmation, folks. Vladislav Lomco is on pole, a 156.958. Christian Mansell in second, Oliver Goethe in third, Frederick Lubin fourth fastest, Francesco Simonazzi in fifth, Josh Mason in sixth, Alex Garcia in seventh, and unfortunately Vladimir Netashil eighth. We saw him off the track, no time set, but I'm sure he'll look to be back for racing. Well, it certainly has been a wet one, but the drama very much heightened indeed. Vladislav Lomco on pole yet again, and has managed to enlist a wonderful time indeed. The Grand Prix de Pau winner is now back at the top. Rookie championship standings leader as well. What a way to commence your first season, battling with the likes of Ollie Goethe and Christian Mansell. And he'll be flooded with confidence, to say the least. Brilliant stuff indeed. And there you have it, the one finger. And here we have the confirmation. There is Oliver Goethe, third fastest. And we will be hearing from Lomco later on as well, as we now see the cars make their way through. There's Christian Mansell, second fastest on the day. Not quite enough to tackle that of Vladislav Lomco, but only just under 0.7 of a second behind. And Vladislav Lomco also will be coming through shortly as well. We'll see his car come through. There it is. Vladislav Lomco, our pole position for the start of the race later on. And we're going to hear from Alfredo Filipponi and Vladislav Lomco.
Vlad Lomco, it's not a very beautiful day in Monza today, but it's a nice day for you with a second pole position of the season.
Yeah, exactly. It was quite a good one. I know Monza in rain quite well, so we can see the result, and yeah, it could have been even a bit quicker, but I'm happy with the lap, and yeah, I'm really happy with the result, and let's do it P1 in the race.
What does it change with the rain at Monza?
To be honest, in Monza, the pole position is not such a big an advantage, because obviously it's so easy to overtake on this track, but if it's going to be a wet race, as same as qualifying, it's going to be beneficial, so I will not have a spray in my face moving towards T1, hopefully. So yeah.
All the best for this afternoon then, for later.
Yeah,
Bye.
Thank you.
So there we are, Vladislav Lomco flooded with confidence here at this point, and he'll go into the race later on in front on pole position. You can join us later on for racing action, but for now, it's goodbye.